I'm not sure whether it's a case of getting older that I feel more nostalgic about past times. And nostalgia can be something that's a very strange feeling. You know, when you look back at certain situations, it's through rose tinted glasses. You kind of have a little bit of sentiment thrown into it, a wonderful aspect of things that used to be. They might not have been as wonderful as first thought, but it definitely plays on my psychology and along with collecting as well. I have mentioned several times, huge fan of the video shops, huge fans of going there, getting movies, talking to the people there and having that kind of experience. But practically breaking it down, what was it about that? Was it the movie store itself? Was it being there, looking at movies, finding films, talking to people? Was it everything put together? Was it the fact that it was the first chance to get out and really experience different things by myself and have control over what I was choosing, what I was getting, what I was consuming? Because you look at what's happening now with what you can get, you know, movies that you can get your hands on and the quality that you can get your hands on, it's way better now. It really is. Practically, just looking back at it, the quality that I can get now, the range of movies that I can get now is ridiculous and way better than what I could used to get in the video store days. Yet for sometimes I kind of disregard how easy it is just now, and I focus on how wonderful it used to be back in the good old days. It's even referred to as the good old days. Nostalgia is something that really does play a part, a huge part in my collecting, because I love that feeling of nostalgia and the feeling of looking back at those better times. But it's not always the reality, and I think you don't really appreciate the situation you're in enough while you're in it. We are in a wonderful time. We are in a time where we can get our hands on almost any release in the best quality it has ever been in. But do we just take that for granted? Is this going to be something that in 10, 15, 20 years time we're going to look back and go, oh wow, remember the good old days where you used to be able to get all these movies on 4K or remastered Blu-rays, and how wonderful it was, and now things have changed and you can't get physical media anymore. Isn't it just disastrous? It's that idea of nostalgia, is that idea of this psychologically warping situations and not realising how perfect they are at the time. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time out, a step back, look at the situation, weigh everything up and decide, yes, this is a great time, this is a wonderful time. And although the video store days were great for me, they weren't as rosy as I paint them. You know, a lot of times it was trouble getting releases that I wanted to see. Many times I'd go in and there'd be titles that were rented out and you couldn't get them. It was a pain in the butt. A lot of times you found yourself unaware of what you were getting, simply going by a cover, and you would end up with some tosh. Sometimes you'd end up with some brilliant stuff. But you seem to disregard all of the bad thoughts and experiences that when you come along with nostalgia, which I think is really kind of weird and kind of funky, how you can have these experiences that can be both good and bad, yet when you remember them you completely wipe away all the kind of bad memories that you had, all the poor experiences, all the bad interactions that happened. So whereas it's good to look back and have those fond memories, it's always nice to have those things to fall back on. I think it's a little bit important to make sure that I focus on what we've got now. I focus on the wealth of movies that we have now. The fact that I have money and I can afford to buy the things I want. The fact that I can get all these releases that I never dreamed I'd be able to get at a certain point in my life. And it's, you know, it's appreciation of that now rather than 10, 15 years down the line. But nostalgia kind of brings a lot of things with certain films for me as well. You know, things that I used to watch a lot in my childhood, things that I have been reluctant to go back and check out because I don't want to waste those past memories that I've got. Memories of discovering movies, of constantly rewatching movies, and sometimes you do find something that holds up remarkably well and plays exactly as you remember it, whether it be Flight of the Navigator or The Lost Boys, those kind of movies that I constantly rewatched and just utterly loved. And then you're a little bit afraid to go back and check out some of the other movies that I used to rewatch a hell of a lot because they just may not live up to that expectations, and by doing so may remove that feeling of nostalgia towards that time, the place, the movie, you know, because I have fond memories of watching Young Guns a hell of a lot. I've not seen it in years, and I don't know if I want to go back to it. I know I do not want to revisit Mac and Me, but I have memories of watching that with the family and loving the hell out of it. But I know that by going back and rewatching that movie specifically, I think it could rob me of that nostalgic feeling of a time, the place, the movie, all those kind of things. It's a strange idea to the way that the human memory works and the way we create these fun-laced ideals of perfect times and places by stripping away all the poor elements of it. So I'm happy now. I love to look back at the good old days and have those fun memories and conversations with people. But I am happy now as well. I find them two very different times, but I am enjoying both equally. Like I said, the freedom to get whatever I want now in the full cuts with the best quality ever is amazing. The fact that I stumbled across Zombie Flesh Eaters on videotape way back in the day, it's another fun memory and one that I won't lose anytime soon. Nostalgia, oh, what a funny mind game it is. Maybe I'm a victim of nostalgia. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Man v Film.